Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from everyone's favorite kaiju metal crew, Oxygen Destroyer, entitled Guardians of the Universe. Hey Uncle Melty, kaiju metal sounds dumb and made up. That's correct, it is dumb, it is made up. Most genre labels are. But you know what? Screw it. I don't really care. If we can have Viking metal and pirate metal, then why not kaiju metal? Why the hell not? This is the third full-length studio album from Oxygen Destroyer, who have become well-known-ish within the extreme metal underground scene for their incredibly brutal and explosive and uncompromising fusion of thrash metal and death metal with blackened spices, and also for their unwavering support and undying love for oversized Japanese monsters, also more commonly referred to as kaijus. They write pretty much exclusively about kaijus and the destruction that they very often leave in their wake. The name Oxygen Destroyer itself is taken from the name of a weapon used to defeat Godzilla in the original 1954 Godzilla film. I first came to know them back in 2021 with the release of their sophomore album entitled Sinister Monstrosities, spawned by the unfathomable ignorance of humankind. And right off the bat, I will say this. If you loved Sinister Monstrosities, you will also love Guardian of the Universe. Period. No fundamental or even subtle changes have been made to Oxygen Destroyer's sound and formula whatsoever. This is very much a repeat of what Oxygen Destroyer have already been doing, but that's not really a problem because the music is consistently thrilling and dynamic and brutal and pulverizing, and that's pretty much what you want from, like, more underground kind of thrash death extreme metal, and also from, like, a band that, like, I would call kaiju metal. So, fuck it! It's massive, it's insane, it's intense, it never slows down, it never compromises, it never makes any weird detours or goes into funky territory. It really does feel like you're in the midst of absolute utter destruction. Like an actual kaiju is walking the city block right now, and you're right fucking there, and you're getting torched. You've been stomped on, you've been turned into a puddle of goo, you're being eaten. I don't know what exactly, I don't know, but something's happening. It's not great. I mean, it's great for the album, but maybe not great for you, or maybe it is great for you. Maybe you're into this. After all, you do listen to extreme metal, so, you know. Look, the point is, this thing's fucking gnarly. Opening number and title track Guardian of the Universe wastes absolutely no time whatsoever with the roars and screams of angry, hellish monsters and super chunky, beefy thrash death riffage and percussive blasts galore. There's a really good amount of variety to the riffage as well, like you have these kind of blackened death metal outbursts, you have some more old school kind of death thrash breakdowns, slowing things down a little bit, you have these towering riffs, very cinematic and heavy and doomy, and you have some like classic thrash metal guitar solo pyrotechnics and dynamics, like something I would expect from maybe Sodom or like classic Creator. Then there's Shadow of Evil, which takes things into more over-the-top, ballistic, blackened death metal territory with sneering, scowling vocals and some totally unrelenting, uncompromising percussive assaults, blast beats, and insane, gnarly, grinding riffage. Around the 2-minute 15 mark, there's a bit of a break with a sample, I'm assuming from an old kaiju movie. Don't test me on this, I'm not much of a kaiju monster movie aficionado. My wife may be able to tell you, she knows this stuff better than me, honestly. Look, the point is, there's a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of a calm before the storm moment, and then the storm shows up with these insane kind of like squealing vocals. If you told me an actual kaiju was in the studio for this, I think I'd believe you. Then there's Banishing the Iris of Sempiternal Tenebrosity, a completely, totally rabid smorgasbord of thrash and death metal and black metal spices and influences. You've got these gurgling vocals and these shrieking vocals and like classic black metal tremolo style riffage and some groovier kind of death metal progressions. And also an opening riff that is just pure testament in the best way possible. Like, a little darker, a little heavier, sure, but if this had come out on like the Brotherhood of the Snake or Dark Roots of Earth, I don't think anyone would question it. My favorite cuts on the record, though, might be Awakening the Malevolent Destroyer and Exterminating the Ravenous Horde, because both of these cuts take a little bit of extra time to create a little bit of extra dread and doom and atmosphere. They're a little bit more cinematic. With slower, more grating grooves and riffs, more use of samples and monster screams and so on and so forth. As brief as these sections are, it makes the eventual launch into what I guess we can call the more atypical Oxygen Destroyer brutality all the more powerful. Now, truthfully, I do find myself wishing that we had more moments like this across the record, because I think it would have made this a more impactful and cinematic record, but counterpoint, even some of the little samples that are thrown in do a world of wonder. Like those bellowing alligator-esque growls in the opening of Thy Name is Legion put a little bit of a chill down my spine, and it paved the way perfectly for a transition into pulverizing death thrash madness. Production is maybe the one area where there is a noticeable improvement over the previous album. It's sharper, it's beefier, it's got more body, it's got more muscle. I'm feeling a light, semi-soft 4 out of 5, leaning towards a 3.5 out of 5, but a 4 out of 5 nonetheless. I'm feeling nice, I'm feeling generous. This record did pretty much everything that I imagine Oxygen Destroyer wanted to do with it. It did everything that I expected them to do, and it was fun, and volatile, and crazy, and over the top in all the best ways possible. Intense, and unrelenting, and uncompromising, and brutal, and violent as fuck. Anyone who loves black metal and thrash metal and death metal and black and death metal, extreme metal as a whole, I think is going to get a kick out of this. If you love monster movies and kaiju movies and shit like that, maybe this could make like a fun, cute little intro to more extreme metal. I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about kaiju movies and shit to really comment. But hey, in general, I imagine like nerdier metal fans are going to get a kick out of all the different references and Easter eggs and samples and such. In the future, I would recommend that Oxygen Destroyer try to branch out a little bit, try a few different little things here and there. I do feel like if they're not careful, they could find themselves being labeled as a bit of a one-trick pony, and records could lose their luster and impact with time. But hey, who knows? I might be overthinking it. For all I know, Oxygen Destroyer could find themselves being lumped in with, like, Cannibal Corpse and the Black Dahlia Murder and Overkill, and, you know, they could just write the same record over and over again, and people will love it, and no one will give a fuck. Whatever. So be it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. We're not there yet. Nothing we can do. For now, a light, soft 4 out of 5. A great record. Very fun. Very exciting. Very heavy. Definitely check it out. Godzilla would be very proud. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.